that border with Angolan border, right? And then we had two groups of people fighting there, the FAPLAs and so on. And we ran into
Liberation Organization.
Yes, and we ran into a UNITA patrol, and they surrounded the tank and with anti-tank weapons, and they were going to take out the thing. And it was reggae that saved the day, because I'd taken some Bob Marley and Yellow Man thing. And when I took out the albums, and man, the whole
like
of the album, and it was like a flag,
and
I started distributing and saved the day. Actually got commended by the United Nations for it. Of course, all 23 of us came back with the UN Peace Medal and stuff.
Yes,
So
that's where Adams get him stripes.
Yes, and Adams was actually promoted from sergeant to inspector there.
Yes.
It was a really interesting.
Now, why I asked you about your tour of duty there is because you will be able to explain to people why Mandela is so influential after serving nearly 27 years in prison, going in at the 40 odd years old as a lawyer like yourself. And because of being so influential, almost single-handedly, but not single-handedly, was able to prevent the bloodbath that almost certainly would have taken South Africa after a black majority government took over. And most of the bloodshed would be against other black people.
You know the quality that defines Mandela more than anything else, and what I think a lot of leaders lack across the world, humility.
Yes.
Right? Mandela was, if you come into my office, you see with 2 pictures with it. It was very, very available.
Yes.
You know, accessible, charismatic, yes, but soft-spoken, and you know, the first time, I think the first or second time trip that Mandela made out of when he left Robben Island was coming to Southwest Africa, Namibia, and we had the opportunity of meeting him, because some of us from the United Nations were assigned, like, you know, close protection, if you will.
Yes.
And we had an opportunity of interacting with him. Mandela took his experience in stride. He wasn't bitter. He was conciliatory, you know, and because of that humility, not only the people of Southwest Africa, but people of the world admired him immensely.
Yeah.
And even now, he's one of the greatest statesmen in Africa.
Now, today is Martin Luther King Day. And today is Muhammad Ali birthday. And in their different ways, like Mandela, the influence that these people accumulate can make them go out. And like James Brown even, because the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated, America was going to explode. And the American government got James Brown on TV performing, because rioting was out in the street now, and them got James Brown on TV performing non-stop, and pull the people them off of the street in front of the TV screen. It wasn't just entertainment, you know, because I had positive messages also. Now you might say this is somebody using this. You might say this is Uncle Sam using Uncle Tom, but it's not just that. The influence that those kind of people accrue and can convert, like how Mandela prevent that bloodshed after South Africa. I am saying the discipline that we want. There are some figures in Jamaica, and it's not those figures can't act alone, you know. But some people have some popularity and some respect, and they must use it and turn this country around.
But let me tell you this, Jerry. A lot of people in Jamaica might not understand. But this journey started about 2.5 decades ago, you know, where our own leaders here have used, because I've said to at least one leader on a particular occasion when we were in close quarters, I said, have you ever heard the term what leaders intend and what their followers are after, not one and the same thing? He said, well, not in so many terms. But I was trying to tell him that the Jamaican people were maturing and they were actually taking the lead. But having said that, are you aware that our own leaders have used sports as a vehicle for reconciliation?
Yes.
Years ago, when we had the political fighting and so on and so forth, there were some forward-looking leaders that chose sports as a vehicle, that people from Tivoli could go to Arnett Gardens and back. And there was a good relationship between these three persons.
Omar Davis and Eddie
Well, there's a triangle that I wanted. the most honorable Portia Simpson made.
Yes.
Her constituency.
Yes, yes, yes.
She formulated an alliance with
Yeah.
that constituency,
Yeah.
Mr. Seaga's constituency
And
and
Omar
Omar
Davis,
Davis's constituency. And
Yeah.
there were 3 areas,
Yeah.
inner city areas,
Yeah.
that found unity through sports.
Yes, yes, yes.
So from those humble beginnings, we're at a mature
We're running out
stage
of
now.
time, but we have touched enough on the surface of that people understand what you're saying. You have about a minute left.
Oh yes, and well, if I have a minute, I like to use it up wisely by referring to a very important piece of article that is in today's editorial. Is it
Gleaner?
Gleaner,
Yeah.
relating to it is captioned "Tidy up UHWI access road," and it's very important.
What is UHWI?
The University Hospital of West Indies.
As a hospital.
Community that is immediately enforced. You know that the University Hospital is a regional institution,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And the kind of problems that the settlement in front of it is causing is intolerable.
Yeah.
And you know,
Traffic problem, access problem, emergency
problems, health problems, general indiscipline.
But these are people who have a right to live.
And they have a right to live. But you know, my suggestion is...
But it have to be further from the road.
Precisely. My suggestion is don't relocate them. Really, it's something...
Brutally.
Yes. I think the first step is to sort of get at least a 50-foot access inside from the road.
Because that's why a plaza, that's how the plaza thing came in, you know, to get shops and thing back away from the road. You're driving and you park and the shopping is in there.
I think the conversation between the residents there and the political and administrative heads should begin with, there should be a conversation, and I don't think that all of the community needs to be relocated. I think that should start from the very front, the part and that are near the nearest the road, and 50 feet away from the roadway. You know, and it
so as I say again, that is what plazas were about, to get the shopping area away from the road, far enough that you go in, you leave the road and go shop, you leave the road and go browse, you leave the road and park, and therefore the plaza crowd is not a danger to Constant Spring Road.
Precisely.
So therefore it was not an anti-people thing, it is for them same one. And even the health will improve. The health of the community and the emergency access.
Yeah, because that particular community, as you're aware now, it's unplanned. They need, for example, good social...
Now, when I was a little youth, there, you couldn't see it, it's monkey fiddle bush, you'd see. And then the houses, there was about 200 feet from the hospital. Monkey fiddle bushes on the outside, and people live behind there, and half of the population was Indian. The Indian workers who came from this estate. And some of them were moved down to Manley Avenue after Hurricane Charlie in 1951 and them thing, but it come too near to the road. It must be a plaza, must be a real plaza, a school back away from, as I said, 50 feet. But it was very good for you to be here. We'll go for the 11 year headline news. That was my guest, Assistant Commissioner Trinity Keith Gardner. Thank you. Straight up. Mr. Keith Gardner, Trinity, that Assistant Commissioner in charge of the security on the university campus here. He's going to be here with us for another few minutes. Anybody want to converse with him, you can phone in right now and you can have an interchange with him, probably about anything that he has said or about his upcoming 2 books that are going to be released and so on by July. Our numbers are 702-3470, 702-3470, 702-2585, 702-2585, 977-7638, 977-7638, and the toll-free line 188-991-5155, 188-991-5155, text line 899-7657, text line 899-7657. Good morning, welcome.
Morning, Mr. Jerry.
Yes, sir, how are you doing?
Boy, I tell us, me I wait from a long time. From last week, me out, me call about me couldn't get here.
Yeah.
About the point when me there talk about now is that the police killing problem.
Yeah.
Right, it's very a really concern.
Yeah.
I don't support of a police killing a man in spite of him finding him with a gun.
Yeah.
What the police...
You mean one who is not retaliating or menacing with the gun?
No, well, if the police find a notorious man...
you what I'm going to do? I'm going to put you on to Mr. Keith Gardner. You know Mr. Keith Gardner, Trinity, the Assistant Commissioner?
I hear about...
Yeah, he's here as my guest. I don't know if
Oh, yes, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. I just hear about him. I just listened to him a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Talking.
Yeah, man, you care to respond?
Okay.